What's up, beautiful jellyfish? It's Tracy, and today I'm going to be doing a video talking about Planeswalkers. And funny story about this video, I've actually already filmed a part 1, which I'm going to delete. The reason why I'm doing this over is because all of my other like top 10 lists that I've done, like I just started a series like on tutors, I've done like creatures who act as removal. I've never ranked those things, but for some reason in my head I was like, let's rank Planeswalkers, and it was a terrible idea and I don't know why I did it. It was really stupid, but it's one of my most watched videos, and I was like, what? Like, why did I do that? It was just so dumb. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna scratch that and we're gonna start from scratch, and I'm gonna do it the way that I typically do these like top 10 list. The way that I do this, if you're new to my channel, is that hold up, there's a Facebook notification, it's gonna drive me crazy. We're just gonna X that out. Okay, so the way that I do these is I basically I limit myself to talking about 10 cards in a video so the video isn't like crazy long, but this is just part 1. I'm gonna be doing part 2, part 3, especially of like this series because, like I said, it's one of like my most watched videos and I love Planeswalkers. I have Super Friends EDH, so I love me some Planeswalkers. Yeah, I think that was all I was gonna say about that. Yeah, oh, and if you're like, what about this Planeswalker? I'm gonna talk to you like I talk to my 7th graders and be like, you didn't listen to directions. I just said that I'm just sticking to 10 in this video. I love all Planeswalkers, all of them. All of them. Except maybe Tibble. Is that maybe that one. Just, that's the exception to the rule. Okay, so let's get into it. So if you know anything about me and Planeswalkers, you know that I can't shut up about Elspeth Sun's Champion. I mean, seriously, like, she's just bomb.com status. She's amazing for so many reasons. She's a like crazy card in Modern, in like blue-white control, like, or just like in EDH. She is amazing, and here's why. Okay, so she starts off as 6, she's got 4 loyalty. Her +1, she just makes 3 dudes to protect herself, which is incredible. Now, I think a lot of times with the way that Super Friend builds work, if you're running, you know, if you are thinking about building Super Friends or you need new walkers for Super Friends, the reason why Elspeth's so good is because she protects herself, and like a lot of the way that Super Friends build work is that you have either a very limited amount of creatures or no creatures at all, and your Planeswalkers, like, you need something to protect them so they don't die. Elspeth is like the #1 Planeswalker for protecting herself because she makes 3 dudes. So yeah, she's got like a little bit of more cost to her. You know, she's got like 6, but she makes 3 dudes for her +1 loyalty, which is awesome, and she's incredible and I love her. Okay, then her minus, you know, yeah, you can knock her down to 1 if you do this automatically, but Destroy All Creatures with Power Forward Greater is incredible, really good. Love that she's like a board wipe stapled onto protecting herself. This card, and let's talk about her ults. So, a lot of times what people think about when they think about Planeswalkers is how devastating is their ult. And a lot of people, I think, underestimate how good this ult is. So you have all those creature tokens that you had with her, assuming they stick around. And what's really, really solid about her and why she's, well, one of the reasons why she's so amazing is because if you have, you know, your tokens, the little 1/1 tokens, they get the buff from that. So they get the +2/+2, and they got flying, just saying, it's all creatures, all the creatures that you have, which is awesome. So you have that. But what's really good about that is that, say Elspeth still sticks around, like she has more loyalty, you know, you can just destroy all those other creatures with Power 4 greater and your tokens are unaffected. So like all around, the design of this card is just amazing. I can't say enough good things. She was just #1 on this slot, not because I'm saying she's like the best Planeswalker. I mean, I kind of am saying that, but like, you know, she's just one of my favorites. I'm not like trying to rank her again like how I did the last video, but I'm just saying she's awesome. Elspeth Sun's Champion. I love her. I need like 15 copies of her. She is amazing. Okay, so, and you know, I have to say, let's talk about how in my ladies EDH deck that I'm building, which is 5 color, let's talk about how I am not running any other Planeswalkers in that deck because I don't want to run Planeswalkers because I already have Super Friends, but Elspeth's not champion. She's the one exception to the rule because she's bomb.com. So let's just say that's how much I love her. I don't know if you can tell my enthusiasm. I don't know, it's kind of hard to tell. Okay, the next card we have is Narset Transcendent. I remember when Narset came out and people were like, what is this card? What is this card? This card is so stupid. Oh my gosh, I can't. I will never forget the day that Justin was playing against this girl, and I think it was like one of her first times playing Magic, and this was in like when, what was this, Dragons of Tokyo? Is that what this set is? Yeah. And it's one of her first times playing Magic, and she's all excited, and then he's like, Narset, and he ults her, and the girl's like, wait, so like what does that mean? And he was like, yeah, like you can't cast non-creature spells. And she was like, oh. And she just looks at her hand, she's like, I can't really cast any of these things. And I was like, Justin, you're so mean. Narset is incredible. Okay, so first off, 4 mana for 6 loyalty. Hi, yes, hello, I'll take 12, thanks very much. So her first thing is really good, really awesome in Super Friends, I have to say, because if it's non-creature, non-land, and you're running a ton of Planeswalkers and sorceries and instants, it works really, really well on that, again, because your build, you're not really going to be running a lot of creatures. So pretty much it's just, hey, look at the top card, I get it. Sounds good to me. I like me some card advantage, and it's on her +1, which is awesome. -2. If you're building like Super Friends, you maybe like this card is, the minus is not really useful, but let me tell you, deploying the Gatewatch twice with her -2 is really, really good. So you look at the top 7 and then you rebound it, so then you look at the next top 7 and then you get to put 2 more Planeswalkers on there, which is awesome. So Narset's really good for that. And then yeah, I mean her -9, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I get her for -9 EDH, people are like, there goes like 70% of Medic that I'm not playing anymore. Okay, and then we scoop up our cards and we play a new game because they just can't do anything about it. She, by far, I think has one of the most devastating Planeswalker ults, hands down. But her other abilities are really good and I definitely wouldn't underestimate them. I think a lot of times what people have issues with in Planeswalkers is like their plus is kind of meh, their minus is pretty good, and their ult is like really good. But I think Narset is just all around a beautifully shaped Planeswalker. She is amazing. I love her too. Great. Okay, now we have Nicol Bolas Planeswalker. And, you know, it's funny, is when I took red out of Planeswalkers, so now I'm doing Atraxa, so I'm only doing 4 color, and I took out the red. It was a bummer for a couple of reasons, and one reason is that I can't play with Nicol Bolas anymore, which is unfortunate. What was that English? Okay, so he's 8 mana, he's a big dude, he costs a lot. Starts with 5. But then his +3, you know, destroying target non-creature permanents, really good in EDH because you have, you know, like, creatures are not really your problem, I feel, because you just run so many board wipes, but sometimes if someone else has, like, another Planeswalker, for example, or an enchantment, or, like, an artifact or whatever that's really threatening, that's really good for it. But then say, you know, creatures are an issue, you could just minus and just gain control of that creature, which is awesome. Really good, I'm a huge fan. I've taken control of some pretty solid things in my day playing with this card. And then his -9, you know, devastating. Lots of people just, again, scoop up their cards once you ult this. Deals 7 damage to target player, then they discard 7 cards and sack 7 permanents. So if you are running lots of board wipes, which you should, you run lots of board wipes, you destroy their things, you gain control of their creatures, and then the minus is like, hey, all those lands you have, guess what? You can sacrifice those. Very much a game changer. Very, very rude. Very rude. If you're not in that playgroup realm where, you know, destroying lands is a thing. Very rude. But he's awesome. Okay, then we have Ajani Steadfast. And, you know, oh man, I remember when my friend Lou, had Super Friends. And I was like, are we reading this card correctly? Is this card really that dumb? The answer is yes, it is very dumb. So, 4 mana, 4 loyalty, I like it. His +1, you know, up to 1 target creature gets +1/+1, first strike, vigilance, lifelink. Let's be real here. This is not the, oh my gosh, best +1 ever. But here's the deal. It's really good, especially if you're running like a really good commander, because you just give that to your commander. It's really good with Atraxa. I've yet to do that. I think I've yet to draw Ajani since I've changed Atraxa. I haven't really played Atraxa like that much, just because Atraxa is very aggressive, and it's one of like my decks I try not to play all the time because 1v1 it's just really good. So yeah, that's the +1. But if you are running like other, you know, even giving like a token that, it's pretty good. Okay. Sweet. The minus. You get +1/+1 creature on each creature and a loyalty counter on each Planeswalker you control, so it's very synergistic for those other Planeswalkers. Or, you know, if you're someone who's running this and not in Super Friends, you could just run Ajani too. He's really good. Because of the +1 ability, you know, and, oh no, even if you don't, you could use the minus ability because it gets them all on your creatures. This card's really great. Does Paul have this in, what deck is this? Karametra, because he needs to. Okay, and then the emblem is really good. A lot of people get kind of confused on like the wording of the emblem, which is like a little confusing. But basically, say like, so if a source would deal damage to you or a Planeswalker, you prevent all of that damage but one. So say someone swings in with their 20/20 creature, you reduce all that damage and you just take 1 damage from that creature. I know the wording of this just confuses a lot of people. It's really, really good. And what's really awesome about this is it starts at 4 loyalty and it's a -7 ability. So if you have like doubling season out, you're like doubling season Ajani, -7, he still got 1 loyalty laying around, and then you just, it's such a game changer for so many people. So he's great. He is like an absolute must-have. You need him in Super Friends. Okay, then we have Ashiok, and I've actually done an entire card focus on Ashiok, and I really love this card. It's funny is I think, do I still have this in EDH? I actually think I do still have this in EDH, and the reason why, or in Super Friends, the reason why I do have this in Super Friends still, okay, 3 mana, 3 loyalty, you exile the top 3 cards of target opponent's library. This is really good, especially because so many people are running like Sensei's, oh, I guess it wouldn't really stop Sensei's Dividing Top. Regardless, a lot of people are running things where they can manipulate the top of their library in EDH, so you want to, like, you know, being able to, like, exile those things, those cards, especially if they're, like, looking at them from something, is really, really good. That's why I hate Sensei's Dividing Top. Not like I hate it like it's bad, like I hate it because it's so good, because it's so hard to get rid of. It's, like, impossible. Okay, but yeah, that, and then the minus is really good, again, especially in a Super Friends build when you're not running, like, any creatures or very little creatures. You get the -X, so from that little pile, you can, like, cast, you know, their things, which is awesome. Love that. And then the -10, you exile all cards from opponent's hands and graveyards. Yes, it's a very situational minus ult, but you know what? I personally think that the +2 and the -X are really what are Ashiok's best features, in my opinion. I don't really find myself honestly doing the -10 a lot. I really like this card. I know a lot of people don't. A lot of people say there's better things, but I really like Ashiok. Okay, and then we get into one of Tracy's top personal favorite planeswalkers, Liliana Vess. Okay, Liliana Vess and I go way, way, way back into my first wee little planeswalker days. So let's talk about this card. 5 mana, 5 loyalty. Alright. Target player discards card. This is really good if you're doing any sort of synergy, like where you want things in your graveyard because you're trying to do like whatever. So Liliana's like versatile in that reason. And then her minus is just good in like everything ever. Because it's like, you search for a card, you put it on top. And a lot of people get upset that it's on top and not in your hand. However, you don't have to reveal it, which is really good. And say you... yeah, so it's like that. Okay, so that's really good. I was gonna say I thought and then it disappeared. So, yeah, you put that card on top, which is really good. Which I really like. And then the -8, you know, you put all creatures into all graveyards under the battlefield in their control. Pretty much a situational type of thing, but really good. I mean, I don't think I've ever gotten Liliana's ult off. I just really care about her -2. I did an entire video on tutors. I love tutors, so that's kind of like what I really look for in, like, not just planeswalkers, but like that's like what I look at Liliana, and I'm like, tutor. I pretty much always go like, okay, -2, tutor for something. And then if no one attacks her, you can get like 2 -2 abilities off before you have to like plus her, and then potentially minus her again if you want to kill her off, or if you've got like buffs from other things from your planeswalkers. My hair looks really good today. I don't know what's going on. I have a good hair day over here. Yeah, Liliana Vess is great. Okay, Sorin, Grim Nemesis. I love Sorin, whole lot. Okay, 6 mana, 6 loyalty. Dude, that's awesome. Okay, reveal a top card in your library. You put that card into your hand, and each opponent loses life equal to the mana cost. So even if you get a land, you know what, man? It's card advantage, which is awesome. Minus, deals X damage to a creature or planeswalker. Way to kill off other planeswalkers, which I really like. And you gain X life. Seems okay. The -9. Oh honey, let me tell you how many times I have like Sorin doubling seasoned minus and just gotten all the dudes. So you put a number of 1/1 Black Vampire Knights creature tokens lifelink on the battlefield equal to the highest life total amongst all players. It's really good. It's a very, very good ult. I remember when Sorin came out and I was like, yo, going in Super Friends, card is great. He's very, very strong. I like the little bit of card advantage, and he does like a lot of different things, which I really like. You know, he gets you that card advantage, but also like does damage to your opponents in one, which is awesome. And then you have the minus, where it's like, you know, doing damage to something, getting a little bit of life back. I like it. And then his minus is just like, let me just make all the dudes. Like Sorin, it can just be a win con. Like his minus can just be, or you can just keep plussing and then just, you know, get all the things. What I really like too about this in Super Friends builds is a lot of times your curve is a little bit higher. You're running Planeswalkers that start out at like a minimum of like 3-4 mana. So like when you get those higher cost mana cost stuff where it's like 6 thing, like each opponent loses 6 life. So good. Oh, I love Sorin. Okay, then we have Venser. And you know, a lot of people I feel struggle to find uses for Venser in EDH, but I have found a number of uses. Venser with the Oaths is really good because the Oaths were in the ETB, which is awesome. I've done that before. That's really great. I've done this with Bajukabog. I love flickering Bajukabog. It's like one of my favorite things. Running those are the main things. I think that's all I can remember right now of what I use Venser for his plus ability. It's target permanent you own. So it's a flicker thing, you know, you exile it, you bring it back. The minus, creatures you control are unblockable this turn. Potentially could be a game changer, you know, say you have those, you know, those tokens that you make from Sorin or whatever, and then you're just like, make all those 1/1s unblockable. Seems good to me, so I love that. And then the minus, I mean, really, casting a spell, exiling something, probably going to be a game over for a lot of people. A lot of people, you know, you get this ult off and they're like, yeah, okay, scoop up the cards, you know. Yeah, Venser is really good. Like I said, I think he has a sort of unique place in the deck. I think you do need to work around him a little bit. I think you need to find uses for him in the deck, but like I said, Bajukabog is a really, really good way of doing that. If you're running 4 or 5 color, even, I guess, Sultai, not Sultai, what is that color combination? I'm blanking on it, I'll think about it in a bit, but, yeah, the white, blue, and black, I can't think of what that color combination is right now, but, yeah. It was really good. Esper, there we go. Knew I'd come up with it. Okay, then we have Vraska. Okay, so Vraska, she's so cool. I love her. Okay, so text is so small. Okay, until your next turn, whenever a creature deals combat damage to Vraska, destroy that creature. What I really like about this is that it's a really good shield. You kind of make like a little bubble around Vraska, and you're like, come at me, bro. And then you're like, okay, you come at me, and then I just boop, destroy all your creatures, which is really cool, so I really like that a lot. Or, you know, even if someone swings with their one giant thing just to get Vraska off the table, you've still done something, you still killed off their creature, which is great. And then the -3 is destroy target non-land permanent. I can't tell you how helpful this has been. Really like this a lot because it's non-land permanent, it's anything, any enchantment, artifact, Planeswalker that I find really threatening, I'm just like, or creature, I'm just like, can't deal with it, destroy that, which I love. Sometimes she's one of those Planeswalkers where I just like immediately Vraska minus, like I can't deal with what's on your board. And then the minus is really good. You know, she's actually the reason why I'm actually going to be putting, or I've already put, I can't remember, not Whisper Silk Cloak, what is that card? Rogue's Passage, the land that makes something unblockable, because I found that I have this issue where, like, those 1/1 assassins are just amazing, they're so good, but you really need a way to make them sort of unblockable. Oh, Venser! She and Venser synergize really well together, I just realized that. Yeah, really. Oh my god, that'd be so funny if you had, like, Venser and Vraska out, and then you had creatures you control are unblockable, and then you had, like, 3 opponents, and you swung at all the unblockable things, and you killed all of your opponents in one turn. That would be lit. That would be sweet. Okay, yeah, Vraska is great. Love her. Okay, and the last Planeswalker I personally think, I want to talk about in this video, that I really think is very much neglected in EDH, and that is Freyalise. And, you know, what's funny is when I was really thinking about Planeswalkers I needed to add in this deck, Freyalise came to mind because of her minus ability. I'll talk about that in 1 second though, but plus ability, she makes a dude. What I really like about this is she makes a dude, she protects herself, or she just gives you more mana. If you just happen to like need more mana for something, it's great, I love it. Adds green to your pool, which is awesome because I find that in most of my builds where I run green EDH, I run like a million green cards because it's like my favorite EDH color. The -2, destroy target artifact or enchantment. This is really important. She to me is a really important Planeswalker because she has that sort of ability, which I really like. Really good when you're playing against people who are running like tons of artifacts and enchantments, mainly artifacts. And the -6, you draw a card for each green creature you control. I have to say, not something that I'm planning on getting all the time, her ult, but the +2 and the -2 are just really strong that I like really like that, so I think those are really important. Yeah guys, that was it for talking about Planeswalkers. Like I said, I'm definitely going to be doing part 2 in the future because these are just, this is like, I love Planeswalkers. I just really, really love Planeswalkers and I definitely want to do these more for you guys. So I will talk to you guys later. Bye.